Thank you for escaping with me into the cave as I meditate on what the cave is really about. It's pretty evident that when you go into a dark place, or you simply close your eyes and you have no light, then you have two things that are existing: your spirit, your soul, your essence, and your mind. And it's only when you light a match, flip a switch, that you have light, that you then see form. And so Christ entered the world as that light, which projects form. It's very simple. The transfiguration. It's beyond our capability to understand. It falls purely into the mystery, the realm of mystery. So over the last few years, whenever we turn on the TV, you hear nothing but death, death, death. And what really hurts the most is when you hear about all the innocent children who have been bombed or killed in Gaza and Israel, and school shootings and the like. And it's just a waking nightmare. And then immediately you reflect on, well, where is God in all this, and how come he allows this to happen, and the innocent suffer and die, and it becomes just a perpetuating question. It's painful to look at. And so many years ago, I did a painting called Jairus' Daughter, and the story of Jairus is that he was the synagogue leader whose 12-year-old daughter was dying. And so he went and he found Jesus because he had heard that he can heal. And so he finds Jesus. And so Jesus turns to him and says, "Look, have faith. She's not dead. She's only sleeping." But we know that she was indeed dead, because the synagogue mourners were already there. They had paid mourners that would come in and mourn and wail, and they knew without a doubt that she was dead. In fact, they sent a servant to tell Jairus to not even bother the master, Jesus, that she's dead. So Jesus says, "Nope, let's go on anyway." And he had a big crowd around him, and he made the crowd leave. So he's then left with only Peter, James, and John, and they enter into the room where the little girl is lying there dead. In my painting, Jesus doesn't heal a little girl. In my painting called Jairus' Daughter, he picks up her hand and he pauses and takes a deep breath. Because you see, it was Jesus who created the little girl. It was Jesus, the artist, the creator, the one who has created all of the universe. And now he's incarnated in a form. So he pauses. He doesn't just immediately raise her from the dead. And in this painting, he pauses and he ponders, and he's very upset. He's upset as to what death has done, sin has done to the world. He's upset about death, and he's the master over death, so much so that he doesn't even recognize it as death. He says she's just sleeping. So there's a deeper meaning here in terms of recognizing who the Christ is, that he's beyond all that we can imagine, do, or think. The raising of Jairus' daughter. Lastly, when I sat and spent a long time meditating over this painting, what should it look like? I realized I had no right to paint the loss of a child because I myself had not gone through that. And so I simply sat with that fact. And it was almost immediately like one of those old Polaroid cameras where the picture just came right out of my head. So I quickly drew it down. I drew the image that I saw in my mind's eye. And it is exactly like the painting that I produced. Unlike my other works, sometimes it takes days, weeks, months, or even years before I would abandon the work or say it's finished. This image came immediately. I think that's very important to acknowledge. Because all of us are only mere conduits in this life if we are following the teachings of Jesus. So what's the takeaway here of encouragement? That in spite of all the death, in spite of all the innocent children dying, God is still in control. He still holds the hands of all those who have passed over, of all those who have died. He's still in control. So if you've lost a loved one, if you've lost a child, it's only for a season. Because Jesus holds them by the hand, just as in the painting. Jairus' daughter. Amen.